Hi, I'm Tom Flannigan, host of Operation Rising Star. Why are so many of our country's most deserving citizens, our veterans, homeless? Why do so many of our veterans become incarcerated? Why do those who have been incarcerated face such resistance when trying to re-enter society? When we make a mistake in life, are there no second chances, no careers, no opportunities to start a business, no safe housing and decent surroundings? How does substance abuse enter the picture? How can we help? We'll talk with the experts, introduce you to candidates interested in that second chance that are remarkably skilled and may be right for your organization. We'll meet people who have been through our training regimen and succeeded in the workplace. So many of these issues are visible to you and I because of homelessness. Here's one of the leading advocates in the United States for change in our approach to homelessness, Lieutenant Governor Kerry Healy of Massachusetts.
Well, when I came into office, we had for any number of years simply been maintaining homelessness in Massachusetts. The response really was, how do we provide temporary shelter for the homeless? And as you know, and as many of the people who provide veteran services know, that the real answer is, how do you get people out of homelessness? How do you prevent homelessness? How do you get the homeless a job? How do you get them the help that they need to become clean and sober, if that's an issue? How do you get them mental health services, if that's what they need, to go back and live productive lives? Because so many people who have either been incarcerated or who have been homeless can lead incredibly productive and fulfilling lives if you give them the right help at the right moment. And a lot of it has to do with timing. So we're trying to turn our whole system around from one that simply enabled homelessness, perpetuated homelessness by just providing shelter and no services, to one that says, okay, when you come into our shelter system, we're going to create a plan for you to have a home. Hopefully a home you can own someday, but at least a home that you know is yours, a safe place for you, and we're going to help you see what other kind of services you need. Do you need job training? Do you need other kinds of mental health services that are going to help you be able to maintain that home? Some people can do it more easily than others, but honestly, we've turned the boat. We've turned our approach completely around so that we want to prevent and abolish homelessness and not maintain it.
Education, employment, and entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Do those sound right to you as the main issues?
They do, and the other piece of that has to be there is, or maybe two pieces that need to be there, is also help with substance abuse if that's an issue, and help with mental health issues if that's an issue. But in terms of making sure that someone can go out and succeed in society, they need housing. You know, they need that support. They need job training, and they often need education. So I believe the sheriff and Jack are right on target about what people need to succeed in society, and they're both very innovative, very visionary people, and you're very lucky to have them out here in the Berkshires because they're doing good work, and work that looks at the good part of humanity, work that's optimistic. And as someone who studied criminal justice for a number of years, you know that there are, very few people for whom you can do nothing. But the vast majority of people who end up in jail or prison don't want to be there. And if they had the opportunities to get the skills that they need, many don't have a high school education. Many don't have the job training they need to succeed. The sheriff and Jack are working to provide those opportunities for a number of people who have been formerly homeless or who are coming out of jail and prison. They're doing good work.
Some folks are changing the landscape for homeless veterans. Here's the UVA's CEO, Jack Downing.
The UVA is really a treatment program, it's a sheltering program, and it's a facility that hopefully transitions people out to the rest of their life where they can lead safe, sober, creative lives in safe, affordable, decent housing. So when we intake somebody, Tom, we bring you in. First thing we obviously want to do is get you sober, get you physically treated for any disorders you might have, get you on the proper medicine should you have some kind of mental illness. And then after a 30, 60, 90-day intake period where we stabilize those issues, then we begin to look at what do you want for the rest of your life? What kind of a job do you need? What kind of living situation would you like? And now we start to plan it.
Reentering the workforce from incarceration or of homelessness takes more than good wishes. Here's Sheriff Carmen Maspiano of Berkshire County in Massachusetts.
Look, we have people of worth. We have people who have defended their country, have moved to make it a better place, and for whatever reason have run into problems. Was speaking said that there are between 2,000 and 4,000 jobs available in the county of Berkshire. Now, I was surprised at that. I did not know that there were that many jobs. And if someone is given the opportunity to obtain the skills necessary that employers need, so they don't have to spend 6 months to a year telling them this is a computer, this is how you turn it on, but rather they immediately know what to do and how to do it, and what they have to do is train them as to what they want done. We feel we can place a number of people. A little economic justice would go a very long way, not only here in Berkshire County and Massachusetts, but in the country. And one of the ways you provide that is to have these kinds of collaborations that are in business to help people be successful, productive members of the community, of society. Whatever that job is,
Sure.
if we can fill the jobs, if we can get to full employment, you're absolutely right.
More taxes, more sales, more everything.
Positively,
Yeah.
the economy of Berkshire County becomes very robust and moves forward. It also tells the members of the community who are in business that we would like to join with them in a collaboration, the United Veterans of America and the Sheriff's Office, and finding out exactly what it is they're looking for, and then providing those kinds of skills, training, and education so that we could put the people out and have them be
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
New thinking is required. Deputy Superintendent of the Berkshire House of Corrections, Jack Quinn.
With dealing with the veterans and giving them that shot as far as employment, we found out that we have a lot of good workers, both with the UVA, okay, and for individuals that are either connected with the step down from the House of Correction, or with probation, or with parole. And these are individuals that normally, when you look at someone that, as an employer, are very hesitant about giving them a shot, and understandably so. Especially in the workforce where, Berkshire County is unique. We have a lot of high-paying jobs and we have a lot of low-paying jobs. And we try to, fill those voids anywhere we can, and giving those individuals the experience and the opportunity to be able to fit into somewhere in that spectrum or scale. We have to find a better way to support our product at the end of the day. I mean, if we were a big business and a manufacturer, when we come out with the final product, when individuals are either released from the service, okay, or released from the House of Correction, and there's issues that need to be delved with when they're released, we have to come up with something for them to do. We have to have the answer for that, a social issue. And this is one way of addressing that issue, is what we're doing here.
Meet a formerly homeless veteran who served 4 years and recently got his certified nursing certificate, Horace Coleman. And somewhere along the line you ran into some tough times, you said.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And somewhere through those tough times you connected with the United Veterans of America, is that
Yes,
correct?
I did. Life was going nowhere. I decided I'm going to pick myself up. I have a 27-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old son, and they're a little ahead of me in life today as far as jobs go. But since I came to the UVA, I feel very, very comfortable with where my life is at right now, because I've been given a second chance to turn my life around. I do community service for the Pittsfield Police Department.
Well, what kind of an assignment is that? This is the local police department.
The local police department, yeah.
Sure.
I volunteer. I go over there 2-3 times a week to wash their cars, or if there's some grounds maintenance that need to be done, we do that. We clean up the outside, pick up trash, rake leaves and that type of thing.
And I'm told by people in the community, especially the chief of police, that the police department has never been so clean. Which is
That's-
a good thing to be, I guess. If you're in a
Well, you know, I don't want to say that on TV.
And so you're interested now in actually going off into the healthcare field and working as a nurse's assistant. And
Yes,
tell
I
me,
am.
what kinds of things would you like to do in there? What's the right setting for you, from as far as you know at this point?
Well, you know, I did a what they call a clinicals.
Yeah.
And you get to, that's hands-on education. That's hands-on action.
It's a real deal.
It's the real deal. And they put me with the Alzheimer's patients. And we had an Alzheimer's section of our training that we understand the cognitive thought pattern of a person with Alzheimer's, you know. And when I went there, that is one place I'd love to be, because, you know, those people are, Alzheimer's are more aware than what we think they are, in my eyes, okay? And they know when they're being mistreated, and they know when something ain't right, you know. But you can't predict how they would act from day to day. But I have that training there, that's the area I would want to go into. I'm learning how to prioritize things at the UVA. I'm learning how to, what are the priorities? And one of the priorities is the first one I already completed. You know, me getting into school and getting into a career that I know is going to pay and going to take me somewhere. And that's the nursing program. So, you know, with that all in mind, you know, I can see that my priorities are staying intact, you know.
Well, Horace, if anyone has had the opportunity to sit with you as I have, there's no question in my mind that you're going to bring a great deal to the healthcare field and a great deal of compassion to the people you work with. It's been a real pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
It takes real change to be successful. Gene Vereen, a manager of the United Veterans of America. Okinawa was sort of, during the Korean conflict, was a very strategic location in the Pacific.
It certainly was.
And so you were stationed there in today what we'd call sort of an espionage role in a lot of ways.
Right.
Isn't that correct?
Right, because I had top secret clearance, you know. It was something like Morse code, you know. It was the intercept operator, you know, we were on a site. We were on a base. We were not on the main base. We were off to a site of ourselves, you know.
I see. And so you were relaying information between the services, I presume.
It certainly was.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it very much. It was a little hectic at times, but it was a very enjoyable tour of duty.
Of course, this was also at the time while Japan was rebuilding, so there must have been quite a bit of traffic in that part of the world.
There was.
Yeah. And how many years overall would you say that you did that sort of work?
Over 20 years.
Really?
20 years, yes, over 20 years. Yeah. And and it was a good feel, you know. And then I got caught up in the alcohol and drug syndrome, and that took away from me, because you just can't care for patients being half in the bag, because you have somebody else's life in your hands, you know. And
drugs and alcohol really created a downward spiral for a number of years for you. Is that correct?
Yeah, it certainly did. You know, and it was up until going on 5 years ago, I was totally, I don't know, I was just going in different directions, you know. And then I came to the UVA 4 years ago, and I came there with I weighed about 130 pounds, and I had a very serious lung problem, you know. And they took out about a quarter of my lung, you know. And today I'm about 80% healthy, but today I have a sense of responsibility, you know, and I really care for the vets. And you know, UVA has really helped me, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get back into the mainstream.
What's your advice, Gene, to someone who's coming through that program and wants to go out and start a new career? Maybe somebody a few years younger than you and I. You know, what's your advice to them in terms of stepping out?
Just be true to yourself, you know, and be willing to change, you know, and change is somewhat hard to do, but just stay focused on the reason that got you here, and look forward to doing good a day at a time, you know. And it's a great feeling, you know, that you'll be able to be part of society again, you know, just doing the right thing.
Operation Rising Star will air weekly beginning in June of 2005 with the assistance of our veteran production crew, the United Veterans of America, the Berkshire County Office of the Sheriff, and the great team of folks at Pittsfield Community Television. For more information, log on to operationrisingstar.com. Operation Rising Star is a product of Rising Star Productions Limited.